Hi. All right. Next to last week, we are very close to the end of the semester. So let's talk about what we've got this week and then what's coming up next week too, because we are at the finish line. All right. So the big thing this week is your lab exam. Now, if you attended class last week when we had Lab 9, you probably know all this information. But just in case anyone wasn't here or if you need a reminder, I felt kind of strange giving you a in-person lab test, because we didn't get to do most of these labs in person. So I know Lab 6 for everybody, that was just a lab video that you watched. Same thing for Lab 8 was the bacteria. And even in Lab 9, just because we didn't have time to set up every single microscope for every single slide, we just looked at lab images for that lab too. So what we're going to do for the lab final is this is going to be an online exam that's posted, and there's a tab to the upper left now that says Lab Final and Study Materials. So if you'll click in there when the test date is open, that's where you're going to take that test. Because we didn't get a chance to go over most of these in class together, this is also going to be an open notes test. Now, I want to make sure when you hear that, a lot of people think, oh, that means I just kind of show up, log on, and get an easy 100. That's not the case. There's still a lot of material that you need to understand. The good news about this is even if there's something that you just don't really have down pat, you will be able to double check your notes and just kind of make sure. But because this is a timed exam, you're not going to have a chance to look up every single answer. All right, you'll have a minute per question. That means if you get hung up on one or two things, you'll have plenty of time to double check before you submit it. But what you need to do is study for this just like it was a regular test. All right, be prepared, be ready, and then if you need those notes or if you need something during the test, that can help you out a little bit. All right. Let's say the obvious thing too. This should be a good chance to finish your semester with a really good test grade right towards the very end. So make sure you're taking advantage of that. All right. So if you go over to the upper left where it says Lab Final and Study Material, click on that. It's going to have a bunch of information, like it's got lab images that you can use to study. There is a quick outline of like all the topics that we covered in Lab 6, 7, 8, and 9, so you can review that and be ready for the real test. And then there's a review PowerPoint too. We kind of very briefly went over that in lab together. All right. Treat it like a regular test, but when you're taking the test, if you need help with a few things, you can do open notes. All right. Okay. Now for things that are not open notes, the next exam next week, we're calling it the final. It's just a regular chapter 20 and 21 exam. It's 100 points, just like all the other exams. But we're doing this just like a regular test. You will show up to the classroom. I'll give you Scantrons, and you'll fill everything out there. Okay. All right. So to get ready for that, last week you should have watched Chapter 20, which was on viruses and bacteria and archaea. For this week, you're going to watch Chapter 21, which is on protists. Covered a lot of that in lab together, so a lot of it will be familiar, but there is a lot of new stuff that you need to look at too. So make sure you watch this lecture. Take notes, just like if you were in class. And then you've got a review quiz, which is going to be due Sunday, May 2nd. So make sure that you take that by Sunday, May 2nd. Only other things are, all right, so there is an end of semester survey that I opened up on the quizzes tab. You can scroll, it should be down towards the bottom of the quizzes tab. It's just to get a little feedback about this class. We haven't done hybrids that often, and we're having to do them because of COVID. But let me get some information from you on what you think worked, what suggestions you might have, just so I can have that in mind if we have to do this again in the future. All right? And then, like I said, down at the bottom, you can see the reminder that our final exam, it's just a regular test on Chapter 20 and 21. That's going to be next week. So Group A, you'll take that on Tuesday. Group B, you'll take that on Thursday. And that'll be it. We are so close to the end of the semester. All right? If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll be glad to help.